Hi everybody. We all know that Voltas is one of the big names in AC industry and has been a market leader for almost a decade. While we only know that Voltas is a Tata backed company, many of us don't know that Voltas was on the verge of being shut down in the year 2001. From having a 40% market share in 1990, it merely had a 6% market share in 2001. But suddenly, something happened, and the same Voltas brand went on to become a market leader for the next 10 years and even today is the market leader. So the question here is, how did Voltas from on the verge of being shut down went on to become a market leader and what strategies did they use? So the story goes back to 1990. Voltas had almost been a market leader for 40 years. But in 1991, the Indian economy opened up.
We have to harness all our latent resources for a second industrial revolution and a second agricultural revolution. Our economy, polity and society have to be made extraordinarily resilient and alert.
Now, various foreign players like Whirlpool, LG, Samsung, they started entering the Indian market. And suddenly, Voltas' market share started declining, and from being a market leader, it went on to have only 6% share in 2001. They were struggling to stand against the foreign competitors. And this is when Tata decided to give an ultimatum to Voltas, that is, come up with something to regain the market share or else you will have to be shut down. And in the next 10 years, something crazy happened in Voltas, because of which Voltas, from being a struggling company in 2001, went on to become the market leader once again in 2012. Voltas called this strategy as the Big Bang strategy. The question here is, what is the Big Bang strategy? Well, we all know for a product to become people's favorite or iconic, it needs to deliver two important things to the customer: tangible value and perceived value. And being an electronics appliance, the third thing is after sales support. The product of the above three makes a product iconic or people's favorite. Any drawbacks in one will drastically affect the product. In simple words, if I take someone out for a world-class 5-star restaurant, the perceived value for this is of course very high, right? However, let's assume the food is not good. So, you won't prefer the restaurant despite it being a 5-star restaurant. You see, although the perceived value is great here, the tangible value, that is, the food being not so good, gives us a bad dining experience. In case of an AC, what are the tangible values? Well, they are the cost, utility and efficiency, and the perceived values are color, design and support. That is pre and post sales support, and also services. Now let's look at each of these factors and find out how Voltas identified them and fixed these problems at all these levels. The first thing was the cost of manufacturing. Well, at that time their manufacturing cost was so high, and to add to this, the design was so bad it practically looked like a white dabba, and even people were calling it a white dabba. Also, they didn't penetrate the lower end product market, that is at that time 20,000 or less or 15,000 or less, due to their higher manufacturing cost. So three things: costs, design and failure to enter the lower end market. Now this is where Voltas cleverly partnered with the largest AC manufacturer in the world, and that company was Fedex International. And by doing this, they were able to get best in class products and launch it in India. For example, if Voltas wanted to order 5,000 units of each component, let's say it would have cost them around $10 at that time. Where Fedex International wanted to order 50,000 components, they could get the same at $5 as they had plants all across the world. So Voltas, by partnering with them, now they can get the components somewhere between $5 to $7. Because of this partnership, Voltas benefited greatly and was able to produce AC at the lowest possible cost in India. That is, let's say before the partnership, it costed around 10,000 per unit for voltas. Now, the unit would cost around 7,800 to 8,000, which is a 20% drop in its cost. This was also the reason Voltas was able to add competitive features like variety of filters, etc. Then Voltas shifted its manufacturing unit from Thane to Dadra. Why? Dadra was a tax exempt zone, and this move saved another 10 to 12% of the costs or savings, which was passed on to the consumer. So this is how Voltas was able to solve their two main issues, cost and design. Now we move on to the untapped market, that is prices below 20k or 15,000 or 20,000. For this, Voltas partnered with manufacturers in Malaysia, China and Taiwan, and they launched new products such as 0.6 to 0.8 AC, which practically costed less than 10,000 at that time. Due to this product, people were able to shift from air coolers to air conditioners, and Voltas was able to help them with this transition. This brings me to the third aspect, efficiency. We all know our fathers are very concerned about the electrical bills, or at least we would have come across few people who are so much concerned about their bill. The thing here is, they don't know exactly at which price point they would be happy with their bill. That is it 1000 rupees or 2000 or 500 or 250? But Voltas did a research regarding this to find out what is the maximum acceptable amount for an Indian family, and they got to know that if you design a AC that will cost less than 1000 rupees, then suddenly the market for AC would triple to 30 lakh units. So Voltas went back to their drawing board, did some engineering and R&D to see how could the price be brought down to this golden number of rupees 1000. They also started educating their sales team so that they could address the customer how much a bill they can expect from usage of a particular product, that is a particular AC. They also started targeted market ads, for example like the one for retired couples, reassuring them that an AC bill would not burn a hole in their pocket. This is how Voltas addressed their tangible value problem. The last but the most difficult thing to be done was perceived value, that is brand building of Voltas. After doing a thorough market research, they found that people perceive Voltas as white dabba, outdated and an old man's product. This is where they came up with the buzzword intelligent cooling. Intelligent cooling essentially meant uniform cooling, energy efficiency, timers and various air filters. Now this was very important as many people started perceiving Voltas from a white dabba to a feature loaded intelligent air conditioner. They hit another master stroke in the year 2012 with their all-weather AC. You see guys, India is a very diverse country with different weathers conditions across various states, right? If someone asks me for what purpose I use AC for, well, I would say to cool down my house. However, Voltas was satisfied this AC could be used for various purposes. For example, in a dusty area, it could be used to keep the air clean inside the house. Came along with it was one of the most iconic ad campaign where we see Mr. Murthy, who gets transferred regularly, was happy with it. Why? Well, he had the all-weather Voltas AC and this campaign ran for 6 years.
नया दामाद घर आता पुराना हस्बैंड भूल जाता. थैंक गॉड एसी मेरा ख्याल रखता. माई वोल्टास ऑल वेदर स्मार्ट एसी, इसका स्मार्ट सेंस वेदर को सेंस करके बेस्ट मोड बताता. स्मार्ट इन्वर्टर टेक्नोलॉजी पावर बचाता. स्मार्ट रिमोट मोबाइल को रिमोट बनाता. स्मार्ट एसी लिया.
पर ये स्मार्ट एडवाइस किसने दिया?
That is till 2018. The service support for Voltas customer was also made lifelong. As a result of their relentless effort to regain their position, Voltas, having 6% market share in 2001, went on to have 18.3% market share beating LG by 0.7%. They have been a market leader for almost a decade, and as of January 2022, they have a market share of 25%. This is the story of an iconic rise of Voltas regaining their market leader status. If you have learned something new in this video, do support us by sharing it with your friends and family and spread the knowledge. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more. This is Srihari and I will see you guys in the next video.